Hey guys, it's Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Today's video is a little bit different one. Just a little subject I wanted to talk about that never really talked much about on here before. I have never really been a big fan of traditional sports. Football, baseball, basketball, that's that kind of stuff. Um, Baseball's okay. I've been to baseball games. I've been to professional football games, but namely football and basketball. And I was just sitting there brainstorming this morning before I left for work. And I think I finally figured out what it is that I don't particularly care for with regards to those sports. And what it is that, in my opinion, as a motorsports guy, football, basketball, that kind of stuff, those sports, in my opinion, based on my observation, do not evolve. Allow me to explain what I like about motorsports. Okay. Now, those that know me very well know that I'm a fan of monster trucks. We had a friend, family friend, who drove monster trucks for years. And he went on hiatus for a while and raised a family, and then he went back and started doing it again. Now he's retired from it again. But anyway, you go back 35 years in the monster truck business. Those trucks were 14,000 pounds. They had straight rail frames, leaf springs. They were very heavy, and they had standard shocks just like you might find on a regular pickup truck. And but by the late 80s, the horsepower was picking up, and they were getting these trucks to go faster, and they were doing more than just climbing over the cars. Now they were starting to jump over the cars. They were becoming race-oriented. Let's get from one end of the track to the other end fast. So Bob Chandler saw guys getting hurt, injured, bopped around in the trucks because they had no suspension travel. And he sat at his computer with some CAD software and designed a Bigfoot 8 monster truck, which utilized a cantilever suspension that gave it 18 inches of suspension travel in the front, 24 in the rear. And that was the way of the world for a while. Actually, TNT actually banned that truck in 1990 so that the other guys could catch up. And it worked well. And then finally, I think it was Trailmaster, designed a shock, a nitrogen shock that could actually give the trucks the suspension travel they needed, and that axle drop so they could do the long jumps over the cars and land like a sponge, but do it without having to utilize the cantilever apparatus. So then you take that weight and you can put it in a more advantageous section of the truck, the motor. Now you're jumping cars. You want that frame to be as strong as you can. You weld some more metal in, make that frame nice and strong and beefy. And we see what they're doing now. Now, monster trucks have freestyle. They go out there and they push those trucks to the limits every day, try to put them on their lid and do whatever they got to do to get the customers, to get the fans interested. So, in my opinion, that's evolution that you can see. Football, on the other hand, it's just basically the same thing that it's always been. Go out there in your uniforms to the field, throw the ball around, get to the end zone, get a touchdown. If you can't get to the end zone, kick a field goal. If you get a touchdown and the score is real close and you're near the end of the game, try to go for a 2-point conversion. it hasn't changed, it hasn't evolved. And the one thing I do not like, especially here in the Philly, South Jersey area, about 20 years ago, we got new stadiums here, and then they demolished Vet Stadium. I don't like this idea of the public having to help finance these big, giant, conglomerate, colorful stadiums. I got a problem with that. I think the sports fans should pay for that. The teams should pay for that, not the public. Because maybe the taxpayers don't like it. Maybe they don't like football. Maybe they don't like baseball. And in the case of Philadelphia, I've been to Citizens Bank Park since it opened to see several Phillies games. I think they did a nice job with it. That is a nice ballpark. It was worth the money that was spent on it. Lincoln Financial Field I have not been to. However, I worked with a guy for 7 years that used to go with his buddy, and they would go to the top level of Lincoln Financial Field like once a year and go see an Eagles game in person. And I'm told that place is dark. Apparently there's only one escalator to take you to the top, so Tom and Rob would do the climb. They just did a post on his page about it, his Facebook page. The climb to the top. It was a memory post. And, those guys are in their 50s now, late 50s, and tired by the time they get to the top. They were tired by the time they got to the top, as most of us would be. That roof on that stadium is 150 feet above street level. So the upper deck is probably more than 100 feet above street level, I'm sure. But I've heard people say that certain areas, when you sit in the upper deck there, that the roof doesn't cover you very much, and they get that sun glare, and it makes it hard to see the games. So what I would have done in that particular situation, being the guy that I am, you see, I'm not all about flash. I think that, and here's where Monster Trucks is better, in my opinion. You see, with Monster Trucks, we don't care what the building looks like that we play in, or how colorful it is, or stuff like that. You see, Veterans Stadium was only 33 years old when they destroyed it. And what they could have done was improved it. Because now they've all but enclosed Lincoln Financial Field by adding the additional seats that they did a few years back. And, it's pretty and modern and stuff, but, how hard is it to plant grass? You don't like the turf, and the turf ended a couple careers? Plant grass. It's not a baseball stadium anymore, so you wouldn't have to convert it for baseball. So just plant grass. And pump some dollars into it. I would have pumped some dollars into the Vet and did one hell of a renovation on it instead of building two stadiums at the same time and relying upon all that public financing. You probably could have got another 20 years out of the Vet and then maybe handed it over to Penn State or Temple. Here, play your games here. Place will hold about 65,000 to 70,000 people. There you go. But of course, there's those people who are, the Vet was a turd. It was a horrible dump, and all that stuff. Maybe those guys. Maybe you should have attended a game there, like I did back in the day, 30 years ago. Wasn't that bad back then? But anyhow, just wanted to do a little short video on that. That's my thing. I think I've finally figured it out why I've never been fan of traditional sports. We need a new arena every so many years, and the sports don't evolve. It's the same goal every time. Without trying to make it different and more interesting to the fans and the people that spend lots of money on these tickets and these being season ticket holders and things. And to me, I just don't feel like I would ever get my money's worth out of stuff like that. It's fun to say, hey, I've been to a ball game, I've been to a football game, I've seen the Eagles play, I saw Reggie White play, I saw Randall Cunningham play. One of the games I went to there back in the 90s, it was when Dallas was in town. I got to see Troy Aikman play, I got to see Michael Irvin play. I mean, so I got to see stuff, I got to see, I got to see Corey Lytle play before he died over at the Citizens Bank Park. Yeah. Got to see some neat things, some really good people play. So, got to see Jim Thome play in that park. Bobby Abreu, Ryan Howard, those guys. But so I mean, it's fun to talk about every once in a while, but I'm never going to be a big blown out fan of it like that, like my brother is. And for obvious reasons, and I think, like I said, I finally figured it out why. And I know for some of you this may be one of the most boring, most disappointing videos ever, but, we're all different, and that's it. That's what makes the world a beautiful place, is that we're all different. And it is what it is. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I thank those of you that tune in and watch my videos every time, and we will see you on the next one. You guys have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon.